Hello again, I'm Bob Weir with another interview of notable people in North Texas. My guest today is Flower Mound resident, retired Navy Captain Chris Hampton. Captain Hampton is a volunteer and participant with Heroes on the Water, a 501c3 nonprofit program for those with post-traumatic stress disorder. Thank you for being here, Captain Hampton.
Good morning, thank you.
If you would begin, please, by telling our viewers something about your own background in the military, for example.
Well, like you said, I'm retired Navy. I did 27 years in the U.S. Navy. I was a ship driver or a surface warfare officer. I came into the Navy through the ROTC program at the University of Oklahoma. So I'm a Sooner. And I went from the University of Oklahoma to a destroyer out of San Diego and did several deployments around the Western Pacific, and literally I have the distinction of having lapped the planet. So I've seen a lot of water.
Wow. And Heroes on the Water is about a therapy program involving kayaking.
That's correct. We're really the largest kayak fishing organization in the world, and that happened through our own growth. And the organization is about putting veterans and even their family members, and sometimes even their dogs, out on a kayak to go fishing. Although we're a kayak fishing organization, sometimes the veterans just choose to go out there and paddle around. Sometimes they go out there and paddle around and fish.
And when was Heroes on the Water started?
Yeah, Heroes on the Water was formed back in 2007. And the idea for it came completely by accident. Our founder is an Air Force veteran, Jim Dolan. He was an Air Force Academy graduate, played football for the Air Force Academy, and he flew C-130s in the Air Force, had quite a career in the Air Force. And after he left the Air Force, he went into the airlines and he was a captain, American Airlines captain, can't remember what aircraft he flew, but he flew for American Airlines for a number of years. And he grew up as a fisherman and grew up around kayaks. And he was down at San Antonio at the Brooke Army Medical Center. And he had some friends down there that were going to go fishing out in kayaks. And they took some of the veterans that were patients at Brooke Army Medical Center, and they took them out there. And there was one patient in particular who had PTSD, he had traumatic brain injury, he was having speech impediments, and he was having trouble talking and communicating. He had been getting therapy for over 2 years at Brooke Army Medical Center. They took him out on the water for a couple of hours, and when they came back in, this veteran started talking.
Really?
And at that moment, it was an aha moment for Jim Dolan, where he realized, hey, wait a minute, there's something to this. So we went back again with some other veterans, and they started noticing, you get these veterans with injuries and traumatic brain injuries or PTSD out on the water, and there's a relaxation aspect of it that had some therapeutic qualities.
Something about the serenity must have. I noticed that you have on the patch here, it says paddle, fish, heal.
Exactly.
Heroes on the Water, that's great. Tell me something, who is eligible for the program?
We're open to all veterans and their families, and we're also open to first responders, including the police and fire and medics.
That's great. Would this be a seasonal therapy program in as much as it's on the water? Would it happen in the winter too?
Well, that depends on where you are. We have 70 chapters worldwide. We have a couple of chapters in Australia. We even have a chapter in UK. We have chapters all over the continental United States. So the southern states, places like San Diego, which is one of our largest chapters, or even the chapters that we have here in Texas, we can do things year-round. We generally plan events all year round. But chapters, say, like up in Michigan or up in Minnesota, they generally don't until the waters thaw out a little bit.
They'll get frozen on there, yeah.
It's usually the late spring into the early fall is when they have their events.
So, okay, so you answered the question about emergency responders being eligible. How is the program financed?
We're financed completely by donations. So that's what's great about having the opportunity to talk to you, Bob, because we want to make sure that everyone is aware of this program and the healing effects and the effects that we have on veterans. We depend completely on donations. We get donations from corporate sponsors. We get donations from people like you. And then we do our own fundraisers periodically.
Well, this will get wide distribution. Hope to get this out we have many avenues to get this out, and it sounds like a great program that is almost a secret because I hadn't heard of it until recently.
A lot of our success has come through word of mouth.
Yeah.
And through our webpage, obviously, and through Facebook. Every chapter has their own Facebook page, and that's where a lot of our events are published. So, like for the Brazos River Valley chapter that I'm with, we started off with a very small group of people that we knew would be interested, and through word of mouth, that grew from, really, we started out with about 75 people in our mailing list, and now we're almost 400. So it grows over time. Every event we have, we run across people who have heard about us through somebody else and has gotten on our mailing list, and we continue to grow.
Yeah, that's a lot of growth since 2007.
That's right. We've grown from really 1 to 2 chapters. There were only a couple of chapters in the very beginning to 70 plus worldwide in the last 11 years.
Yeah, you know, I have family out on Long Island that are into kayaking. I have to ask them now if they got into it through, because they're involved also with organizations helping the military and stuff. And they own their own kayaks.
Right.
So I had never kayaked in my life, but I'm going to try it now. I think it sounds.
We've got to bring you guys out to an event and then see it.
Yeah.
And you'll be believers. You'll be hooked.
Oh, I'd like to try it. Yeah.
But you mentioned your relatives have kayaks of their own. There are a lot of our participants who started out as just participants and they're using our kayaks, and I'm a case in point. I never had a kayak before until I got involved in Heroes on the Water. And then after my involvement with Heroes on the Water for about 3 years, I decided I'm going to go out and get my own kayak. We have a lot of our regular participants that have their own kayaks, and then we have a cadre of about 20.
And it's good exercise too.
It's fabulous exercise. I mean, it's out there paddling, and you're out on the
Think
water.
about that. Yeah, that sounds like an exercise you'd get at a gym, but only you're on the water.
Well, it's exercise as long as you're paddling. We're paddling and fishing, so there's a
True,
certain
yeah.
degree of, you paddle out to
Yeah.
a spot where you think the fish are, you throw a hook in the water, and you're kind of sitting there waiting to get a bite.
I bet you get good at that after a while, moving through the water on that, because the boat is like slender, right? It's like it moves quickly along the
Absolutely,
water.
they plane right along.
Yeah. Do you actively recruit veterans and others for this service?
Absolutely. We're looking for veterans all the time. In fact, I go to a lot of other veterans events and I talk to veterans. And when I talk to them, one of the first things I ask them is, have you ever heard of Heroes on the Water? And if they haven't, they say, no, I've never heard of it. And I said, well, do you like to fish? Do you like the water? And if the answer is yes to either one of those, then I start saying, well, have you ever been on a kayak? And then it kind of goes from there. And most people who have never been on a kayak, and maybe they fish, but they like being around the water, they're a little leery until I get them out on that kayak, and then get them out on the water, and they realize, oh, wait a minute, kayak doesn't mean unstable. They're actually very stable, and this is actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's true. You know, people may, if you look at it, you might think that it's not that stable because it's only a slender boat, you know, and you're in, but you also have for 2 people kayak.
Yeah,
right?
we have tandems. And we have the tandems for a dual purpose. We have a tandems because sometimes we have veterans that have challenges and we need to have somebody else in the kayak with them.
So you've established there are healing powers involved in this
Right.
with kayaking. That's great. Yeah. I want to let the audience also know that for more information, and it'll be in the written portion as well, but for more information you can check out the website www.heroesonthewater.org. And at this point we're coming to a close. So I'd like to thank you, Captain Hampton, for being here and for all you do for our veterans. This has been
Bob,
a very
thanks for helping us get
interesting
the word out.
I will certainly do that. Thank you, sir. And thank you for watching.